I think they went to an actual club, and to be fair, the Love Island people were
They returned.
but that's what they do, okay? Hey guys, and welcome back to our channel. We are back with a brand new show, brand new episode. So we are currently getting ready to start the first episode of the Challenge USA, which is the challenge combination of Love Island, Amazing Race, Big Brother, and Survivor competitors competing in the challenge. So we're super excited. So we're going to give you our review and our thoughts on this new season, and let's get started with episode 1. Okay, so this episode I thought was a good introduction. I think they got right to the point. They introduced everybody well, but let's go over it. So when the show first comes on, we see that we're on like the backdrop of they let us know we're in Argentina, and they are dropping all the competitors off from like a coach charter bus to their new home digs, which is very reminiscent of like Total Madness. They're in like a bunker warehouse type of situation. So I mean, I'm over Total Madness and all that. I don't want to see it ever again, like that look on the challenge, because I did not like Total Madness or Double Agents or any of that. But in this instance, I think it was fine. Yeah. So they dropped them off at the warehouse, which is their new home with the challenge. I think it made it look more sleek for them. I don't know. They weren't underground.
Their interior designer was on point, because it was cute or whatever for it to be like middle of the nowhere type of thing. But then I think that's just the perks of being international. I feel like all their like a warehouse, if they was in the States, would probably look like a warehouse. But because it's international, it gave it a more finesse, finagle, accoutrement.
Not accoutrement. So everybody's mixing and mingling, getting to know each other in like the common room area, when all of a sudden we see a shadow by the door, which is TJ coming in. Very dramatic entrance. He always makes a dramatic entrance, and everybody's cheering and yelling and everything for TJ, and we get everybody's first impressions, kind of cast confessionals about who they are, what shows we know them from. I'm always here for my Love Island girls, so I was happy to see Cache, obviously, and they mentioned kind of about her and Cinco's breakup really quickly. They go into Tyson and what he's known for on Survivor, but yeah, so they give a little background on everybody. What did you think of the introduction of like the characters?
I mean, it's giving very much, because I feel like a lot of people didn't talk throughout like the episode.
There's so many people right now, they can only
highlight. That's what I'm saying. So it's giving very much like, I wonder how it's gonna play out, because the people that I thought would have like big camera time didn't, and then so it's just interesting like the dynamics right now. But it was cute that they all fans like this. See, this is when you go into the challenge, the way they went into it is the way you need to do as a rookie. Like you study it, you look at other seasons, you get all this information, and then they're fans. So it's like, yeah, this is what rookies should do. Like you need to do your homework.
I do appreciate that, because on the main season, a lot of the challengers, like the rookie challengers that are like, they may not be from the US or may not be from Real World Road Rules or whatever. They come in and they're like, I've never seen the challenge. I'm like, what? You've never seen the challenge.
How you coming on the show and you know where you're coming from?
So you're like, who is? Because I still remember in the main season when Gabo said, "Who is that man?" asking who TJ is. I was like, wait, this is a joke. You're playing. And so I did like that the competitors on the new show, the Challenge USA, they have studied it and they have watched seasons. Kylan said he went back recently to watch the past 10 seasons, which is pretty good. But I also think that attributes to the fact that they were on similar shows, even though like Survivor and Big Brother are not exactly the challenge. It's a competition show. You are competing against people that you are with 24/7 type of deal. So I think that might attribute to it. They've done it before. So, anything to help get an edge over. So yeah, I did really like that. So we're going through as we see each of the groups hanging out. We see Justine, Sally, and Cash. They're cool, which is good because I want them all to stick together because I love all of them. And then we see the Big Brother people hanging together, and it seems like the general consensus among most people is that they're going to stick with their or try to stick with their TV show alliances.
Yeah.
Which I mean,
is
can be good and bad, but don't make it
Yeah.
obvious. Like they gonna, they were talking about it too much. And I was like, yeah, don't make it so obvious that you're gonna stick to it. Because what if, and like they talking so much down about Love Island. What if a Love Island person get in power? Like, just don't be too obvious. Like they're like, they don't really rate Love Island, which is crazy because, well, we'll get into it though, but you can tell like everybody is looking down on the Love Island people. And even when I watch promos, TJ was not
even said like
he wasn't favorable to them either. So I'm like, come on, Love Island, prove them wrong. I love an underdog, I love a comeback stories. I'm like, please, please, Love Island. But yeah, so yeah, everybody has kind of really decided to stick together with their TV show. The only kind of like caveat to that or whatever, or like exception to that was like Alyssa mentioned it, even though she has said she's going to stick with them, she says to Shannon, she's talking to Shannon, she says basically like on Big Brother, Xavier, Tiffany, Ozza, Kylan, and all of them were in Alliance, which was the cookout, and they basically played me and Derek's ex, and I want to get revenge and everything. And so she says like, I'm gonna work with Xavier right now, but when the time comes, basically it's on and popping. And I'm like, girl, not you telling people your plan. Like, no, that's inner thoughts, because again, if you cross Shannon, who I think that's who she was speaking to, if you cross Shannon, I'm telling Xavier, like, even between me and you, we standing next to each other. I'm like, Xavier, actually, Alyssa told me that she ain't really working with you. Like, so why would you even tell her that? Like, you don't even know her, or unless they know each other outside of the show. But in this game, you are competitions. I don't know why she was saying that. I understand wanting to get revenge and everything for something that happened on your show, but you do that on your own time with your own plan. Don't let nobody else know your plans. Because I thought that was a flaw that might come back in the future of this game to bite her in the butt, but we'll see about that.
Yeah. I think Shannon, again, we'll talk about it later, but you could tell kind of like where everybody head was throughout this whole episode. And like you said, it was a lot of very much, we're gonna stick with our crew and like sizing people up without actually playing the game. I would like, if it was me, like, yeah, I would stick to the people that I'm close with, but at the same time, I'm not making any promises because at the end of the day, this is my money. Like, because even Derek said that him and Xavier, or him and Alyssa, were burned by the cookout or whatever, but yet they still close to the cookout. I'm like,
yeah, but Derek still told that to us, the audience. He didn't tell nobody in the house.
Like, but still, it's just like, you can't say you want to be working with them knowing that they already burned you or whatever the case may be. So it's just, I don't know, it's just weird.
Yeah, I mean, they just still feel some type of way, which is valid because the cookout did amazing. They were masterminds. They did what they needed to do to win that season, to come out on top, to bring all of them to the end. So they did it, and I'm happy about it. But for the people who thought they was an inside, but they was really on the outside, I understand feelings. Those are valid. And if you want to get revenge, get your revenge. Right before this, I just think of being in a new environment and everything, Shannon does mention that she's feeling like overwhelmed. She does have like she's crying, or like, she's just overwhelmed about maybe being in a new environment. This is a competition. Love Island is very much more laid back because you're finding love, and you're not really, you competing, but not in the sense of like physical competitions. So this might just be a lot more pressure. So she might just be feeling that. And so she was just kind of breaking down a little bit, saying how she not sure she could do it. She want to go home. But that was the night before, maybe this first night jitters. So let's go to the next day, and it's our first challenge. And when we get to the first challenge, TJ tells everybody to break up into pairs, like for find your partners. These are about to be your partners. And the partner choices, some of them were odd, but some of them I understood. They are at the so they choose their partner. Some of the partners I thought were random but I understand, because I don't think it's smart to be with somebody that is on your same show for your partner. And if you study the show or you watch the show, you would do that. So which is why I didn't understand why Kylan and Azza would pair up together, because
they weren't the only same show.
No, I understand, but I'm saying like Kylan mentioned that he had watched the past 10 seasons of the challenge. So if you watch the past challenge, you should be like, actually, it probably wouldn't be smart to do that, which it would not be smart to do that. So I didn't really expect him to do that, but like Justine paired up with Dominic from Survivor is such a random pairing, but it can help Justine because hopefully the Survivor people won't look at them, So we have our partners, everybody's picked. And so the challenge for that day, and let me explain the premise of the game that kind of TJ mentions to them. The way the game is going to work, the overall game of the challenge is that to make it to the final, you have to make it to the final, you have to have $5,000 in your bank account. Everybody is given $1,000. Everybody has $1,000, right? But that's not enough to make it to the final. You have to have at least $5,000. So there we go.
The only way to get
the money
is to either win an elimination or win a challenge.
Exactly.
Which I like that, but at the same time, it's kind of, I wonder how, I feel like the value to get into the final should have been different, because like we saw in this season or this episode, 2 people already qualified, just off that. And I'm pretty sure if you keep winning, you're going to automatically be qualified. So all you need to do really is just win one to stay out of elimination.
Yeah. I mean, but I guess that's what they're getting at. But it's a flaw in that to me, which I'll explain it later on. Remind me to mention it again once we get to the end, because the math to me is not making sense. But let's get into the challenge. So the challenge is they are all standing in front of it looks like a 20-story building, something like 22, that.
22. Well, yeah, 22. It has to be 22.
2-story building, and the challenge is that they will have to in pairs, they will be going against another pair at the same time. So 2 pairs on the top of this building will have to rappel down, and they will have to solve a math equation as they go down. Each different levels have different numbers which correspond to a color that they were given, and they have to add add, subtract, multiply, divide, whatever it says. By the time they get down to the bottom, they should have calculated the math problem and enter in whatever answer they got into the answer key. And if it is correct, their time stops. They get 3 chances to get the math problem right, to get the right answer. And if they do not get it right, they have to go all the way back to the top of the building to do it all over again and rappel back down. So the best thing to do is to not get it wrong. Pair to go was Azza and Kylan. And who did they go against?
I'm not sure of the order, but at the end of the day, Azza and Kylan, they were able to get down first. However, they got their math wrong, and then TJ, part of the rules was you only get 3 attempts before you have to go back up. So basically they ran out of their attempts and they had to go back up all 20. Then they had to run up the stairs to go back up.
When they were doing their problem, I heard the answer. I feel like I heard the answer. And then when they got down to the floor and they were putting in 725, I was like, that's not the answer y'all said. I was looking, I was like, that's not the answer y'all said when y'all was up there. So I already knew it was wrong because they had a 7. And I was like, that was not what, and so I think they just got mixed up because, probably adrenaline and everything. So they had to go all the way back, which And I was like, show me the rules, because do the rules take the elevator? Because because what? But I could tell like I was struggling like she wasn't struggling as much the first time, but having to go all the way back up 22 flights of
flights
stairs.
of stairs is a lot for anybody.
That was a lot. That was a lot. And I was like, go ahead,
I'm
girl.
pretty sure that's against some union rules. Like
The fact that you even made it, because I would have did it. I'd be like, sounds like a disqualification to me, Kylan. Yeah, so they go down. So now that everybody sees like the penalty of what happens if you do not get it on the first try, people are a lot more careful. And again, they went first, but people are a lot more careful solving my problem. So if I know we ain't gonna be first, but we ain't about to be last, so we gonna solve these problems correctly the first time, because you don't want to have to go back up.
Yeah, and I feel like that's one of the things I like it, but I don't like it about the challenge is like once one person like is automatically they're going in, it's like we really don't have to try. So literally people can take as long as they want to get these problems right. Of course you want to win, but at this point it's like baby steps. We going 1 2 1 2 like Kira and Cash said 1 2 1 2 down these things, because baby we got to get this problem right, because I'm not going up there.
See literally every team go, and no other team had to do it again. Almost one team did, Kayla and David, but at the last one, it was on the third try. They got the answer right. They was like, well, let's vote it out. Remember get the math right, because we are not going back up the stairs. If they would have went back, because they took so long coming down, and they took so long thinking about it, if they would have went back up, their time probably would have been slower than Azza and Kylan. And Kylan and Azza are the team that are going into elimination. And but I do want to mention that everybody is playing with Love Island and saying how like they don't rate them, they think they're weak. But literally, I was in a little bit, I had a little doubt in my head too, even though I love them. I had a little doubt in my head too that everybody would complete it, but everybody went down there. And in the main season, there are people that will not even do hikes. Yeah. And they did it, and they never done it before. I was like, yes, come on. Because
yeah, and to that point, surprisingly, Giovanni and Sally, out of all people, did good.
Yes, they did so good. And I'm like, there's people currently that's been doing the challenge for 20 years and still get afraid of jumping off buildings and heights and stuff and will back out. But they did that, and they have never done it before. So don't sleep on Love Island, people. TJ says the top competitor, the winner, comes down to 3 teams who are really close, and that was Danny and Shan, Tyson and Angela, and Cinco and Desi. And the winner turns out to be Tyson and Angela. So they automatically are safe from elimination. They get to pick who's going into elimination, and they get $10,000 to split. So they already have $5,000 each in their personal bank accounts, and they are already qualified for the final. So many different teams, but really the only people that were up for discussion were the Love Island people, because Tyson is from Survivor and Angela is from Big Brother. So they've kind of decided to stick with their shows and not put their shows in. So mostly Love Island and Amazing Race were up for grabs, and some Amazing Race people are with their show competitors. So it was really only Love Island teams, and one team, which was James and Shannon, that had an Amazing Race person on it. So the only people really up for discussion was James and Shannon, Sally, Giovanni, and Kira and Cashel. And when Angela and Tyson sat down with Oz and Kyle, and they basically said, who do you guys want? Who do you feel comfortable with? It's not a promise that we're gonna give it to you, but like let us know, like they do in the real, like they do in the main show. And Kylan says is that they will feel more comfortable going against James and Shannon. Shannon had already mentioned previously that she wanted to leave, and so maybe they think she feels discouraged. It would be easier to beat her, and maybe he thinks he can beat James, and so that might be why they chose them. But he lets them know that's who they want. So they have to think about that. And so that night, everybody goes out to the club. and I think it was a club outside of the bunker. I think it was like a real club instead of like, you know, how during quarantine and stuff, they were doing like the home
I
clubs.
think they just rent out a club for the season.
The Love Island people work. We here to party, you know. We don't know. We here for a good time. We might not be here for a long time. So they are ready to party, and everybody else is they partying too. But you see the Love Island guys are in a corner with James. And they try to figure out how to take the heat off of them because, like I said, all the heat, all the heat is on the Love Island people. Yeah. And James is really, James is he coming in with his inner mastermind because he's like really working the overtime trying to think about this, how to get it.
He said, he was like, I am a reality TV guru. He said, I knows how this goes. I know how to use what I know to manipulate. And he did what he had to do because, baby, okay, he said, y'all never to play in my face. Yeah, I might not be the strongest, but what you're not gonna do is play with me.
Yes.
So I did, like, he was my first out, so I did get a lot of respect for him for that. I was like, okay, you might know what you're doing.
You might know what you're doing. But yeah, so James sits down when they go back to the house. James sits down with Shannon and is like, girl, they got like, girl, they got us on the line. They saying they might throw us in. So we need to do overtime, go mix and mingle with people that's in charge, that's like making the decisions, and because they think you want to leave. And Shannon's like, that was just like a moment of weakness. That was yesterday. This is today. I'm in the game now. And so, which is what I'm saying. Like,
one thing I was confused is when he told them they was about to get voted in, Shannon was like, what? Like, how are you not? Have you not been in?
I don't know if she's ever seen the challenge before, but maybe this is the kick in the butt that she needs to like get in the game, because now you see like any little thing could be the justification for them throwing you in. And you say you don't want to go. Okay, I threw you in because you said you didn't want to go. Girl, that was yesterday. Like, that was what are you talking about?
I just got here. Like, let me adjust. Like,
yeah, like.
One thing I do want to say is when they did the transition shot to the arena, when they had them all lined up walking single file to out the door and everything, and then Tyson and Angela was in their regular clothes, just like leading the charge. I was like, this is a shot right here. This composition right here.
He's like, this is a shot. I was like, okay. But yeah, so we get to the elimination, and I knew what it was immediately. I really didn't remember the name of the challenge, but it was challenge staple. So this is the challenge where they have to tangle. They got 20 minutes to tangle up the rope within the structure, the jungle gym structure, tangle it up to the best of your ability, and then you and the opponent switch, and then whoever untangles it first wins. I was a little surprised they gave this to them right off the bat. I was like, okay, so we pulling them out the vault, which is yeah, I was happy. I think it's a really good challenge. TJ calls Azza and Kylan in. They come in, they look like they're ready, and then then TJ asks Angela and Tyson who they want to go in. And surprisingly, they say Selly and Giovanni, when everybody thought that they were going to say James and Shannon. And then they do a flashback of James working his magic, because he was talking to Tyson like, it'd be better for your game if this happened. It'd be better for your game to keep us around, and letting them know that he doesn't think Selly and Giovanni are on the same page and everything like that. So if you want Kylan and Azza to stay, then you need to put Selly and Giovanni in there, because you have a better chance of them losing than with me and Shannon, because we in this to win this. We in this, and we'll have your back. And so, and Tyson mentions James owes me one, and I mean, sure, I owe you one, but I mean, if I don't, I don't. So when it first starts, I don't know. I think it's so much more difficult to do this challenge in tandem with somebody else. I don't think they ever done it with two people. And so I was like, how are they supposed to do this with two people?
I think they did it before, but I don't think, like you said, I don't think they were tied together. I feel like they just had to pull the rope and maneuver it. And it was, like you said, it just wasn't conducive to like really
I think they
I
could
don't
have
know. I
done
just
better if they did girls versus boy, boy versus girl, and
yeah.
then they did it because like I'm trying to slide through this little hole. Kyla, you can't fit through this little hole. You know what I mean? Like it would have been, I think it would have been better to split it up because it just seems so much more difficult to do it together. And I think they should have did it separated it because two people doing that at the same time is not a good challenge, I don't think. And I think when they doing those not challenge, when they doing that challenge, I don't think the competitor that's doing it even really knows what they're doing. But now I got to pay attention to what I'm doing because my partner got to get through it too. So I'm trying to make a weird knot that even I don't understand. But now
definitely when it's the triangle version of it. Like I feel like when it's the spear or the like kind of what CT and Jay did, or who was that, Josh and Kyle, where it's like something they have to like move around and like go through stuff and like be able to be like more mobile. Because when it's just a triangle, it's only so much, and like you said, those holes wasn't as big, so it's like it's only so much you can do, and they just got this big lump of rope following you. That's another thing. If they're gonna do triangles, they need to make that rope smaller, not necessarily weight, but like smaller. Like it was too long, and they barely can move. Like both of them literally just had big chunks of rope in there.
Ellie and Giovanni had a good, I agree with knotting it up and everything. Like take the whole thing because that will make the knot more confusing, more bigger and more bigger and bigger. But I think by the time she had said that, they only had like, that's when he said we only got a minute left or 5 minutes left, something like that. And so, but when TJ called time, they weren't as knotted up as we're used to. So then they switch sides and the editing chops it up so you can't really see who's in the lead. At one point I thought Sally and Giovanni was in the lead, then I thought Kyle and Aza was in the lead, and you have everybody cheering for their respective teams. And even though like Cash was on a team with a Big Brother person, so they were cheering for different people. But
Cash was on the team with Derek.
Yeah, so Derek's cheering for Kyle and Aza, and Cass is cheering for Sally and Giovanni. And then obviously Justine is like, she said she was quiet because she just worried about her girl, which is Sally. And so she
worried about my good sis.
Yeah, she says she wasn't making a sound. She was just trying to focus, I guess, like basically like I'm willing you to complete this and do good, And so at the end of the day, at the last, I think with Sally and Giovanni still had a little bit of rope to go, but Kyle and Aza were able to pull their rope out, pull it through, and they won it. Kyle and Aza did really well. They won it. So Kyle and Aza are the winners. Sally and Giovanni are eliminated. They are the first out. I hate that for my girl Sally. I want her to stay in longer. Justine is distraught. She's crying. But I'm hoping that, it goes better for Love Island moving forward now that they kind of see the game a little bit. And then, you kind of think that's the end, but then TJ tells them, oh, one more thing. I got one more surprise for you. And then he shows them this board with all of their names. It's like a flashing light rotating throughout all of their names. And basically he says each week, your partners will be changing. You will never have the same partner until you have gone through everybody. The partners won't repeat until you've been through each person. So each week they're going to have different partners, which I was like, okay, I like that because Angela and Tyson were getting a little too comfortable.
They definitely like, it's me and you all the way.
So the overall episode was really, I thought it was refreshing. I thought it was good, especially I thought it was a good like opener introduction episode. So I'm excited to see next week, see what happens, see what the challenge will be. Hopefully they bring back, like, hopefully they just have like challenge staples. I would like that to see just like each challenge is a staple. Next challenge, next elimination is a pole wrestle. Elimination after that is a hall brawl.
Going to our fantasy draft. In third place, once again, starting the season off, is Gigi.
I'm coming from the bottom, just like I did last time. Because that team looked good. That team looked good.
Right now, you're in third place with 92 points. Again, because of all the again, because of so many players, not so many people got like confessionals. Your biggest confessional queen was Kayla, James,
Oh, really?
and Tiffany.
I don't even remember her.
Yeah, Kayla had quite a few confessionals, mainly during like the challenge. She got like a lot of them. Enzo didn't really, he only got like 2. But Johnny gave you -10 because of course he was nominated, or well, he was into the elimination and then he lost it.
Yeah.
So yeah. In second place, we have Savon with 157 points.
He's the same suspicious placings as last time. I believe you. I believe you.
So with him, Angela was his big player. Savon always get people that wears the first. That's the same thing that happened last time. He had Sylvia and Wes who won the first challenge and gave him like 30 points. Once again, Angela and Tyson gave him 30 points, which put him in the lead. But everybody else in his team really didn't do anything. David didn't even have a confessional. So yeah, so let me do some math real quick. So 156. So I'm in second place by 1 point.
Okay, because I'm like, how you beat Savon who didn't lose nobody? That don't make sense.
I'm in second place by 1 point. It doesn't matter. I got 156 to his 157, so I'm still not that far behind.
But yeah, it was a good episode. I really enjoyed it. So we'll see how next week's episode go. Hopefully I can come out ahead next week, get some good people that's winning from my team. But yeah, you have any last thoughts on this episode?
No, I can't get a read on who I think is gonna be the winner just yet. It's giving very much like, I don't know. They give us some misdirects right now, so I gotta like clear like with all stars or even the main season, because we know them, it's like we can see who might be the clear winner. But here, it's really just giving very much mixed bag.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, well, thank you guys so much for watching. Please follow us as we review and recap the Challenge USA, and we'll see you next week on our next episode. Peace.
Peace.